So we had elections in France. Very interesting results. I think that they have global implications, not just because of who's going to lead France, but because of how the voters voted in particular. I think it backs up exactly what I've been saying about elections that have happened all across the world, including England, UK obviously, and the United States. So, as the New York Times explains, in France's most consequential election in recent history, voters on Sunday chose Emmanuel Macron and Marine Le Pen to go to a runoff to determine the next president, official returns showed. One is a political novice, the other a far-right firebrand, both outsiders, but with starkly different visions for the country. First, let me show you those results. There was 4 candidates who were very close to one another. The top 2 advanced to the runoff, and of course that was Macron and Le Pen in this case. Fillon came in at 19.9, Jean-Luc Mélenchon came in at 19.6, but the top 2 at 23.9 and 21.4 advance. New York Times explains that it is a full-throated rebuke of France's traditional mainstream parties because they're not in those parties. So this goes to my point. With Brexit, I said the great unraveling has begun. That's it, for better or for worse. The people all across the world are saying we've had enough. And we're not going to go with the establishment way of thinking. We've been told for decade after decade now it is in our best interests, and we now don't believe you. On a mass scale, we don't believe you. We will be voting against the establishment for as far as the eye can see. And I thought that might be foreboding for what's happening in the US elections, and of course Donald Trump won. Another giant brick through the establishment window, let alone events that happened earlier in Greece and the Philippines and so many other countries where, again, the establishment has been rejected, also Eastern Europe. And again, more context here from the Times. It is the first time in the nearly 59-year history of France's Fifth Republic that both of the final candidates are from outside of the traditional left-right party structure. Buckle up, this is going to keep on happening. So, and this is an excellent case of where at least the voters were presented with an option on the left that was not mainstream. Now we saw here in America what happens if you have the right wing with a populist option, a non-establishment option, and the left wing goes, no, status quo is awesome, we're going with an establishment option. No matter how hideous the right wing version of populism is, it wins. Now, if you had a populist non-establishment candidate on the left, it is entirely possible that, as in France, that option could have won easily. In fact, right now, we know that the most popular politician in the United States of America is that populist non-establishment politician named Bernie Sanders. So if you don't give him that option though, you get right-wing win after right-wing win. In this case, how do they play out? How does this play out? Well, Le Pen's success was a victory for people who oppose the European Union and for those who want to see more France first policies. Where have I seen that before? To restrict immigration, protect French industry, and limit public signs of Muslim faith, including the wearing of headscarves. Where have I seen that? So, but in this case, again, you have Macron, who is an option that is on the left and non-establishment. So his success also suggests, as the New York Times explains, that despite multiple terrorist attacks in France recently, a message of outreach to immigrants and acceptance of Muslims, as well as of ethnic diversity, has some currency. So who's going to win in the general election now that they go to that runoff between these two? Well, here's the latest polling on it. And as you can see, Macron, the left-wing option, has a huge lead, 63.8 to 36.2. So you can argue about how left-wing Macron is, but the traditional party's gone, not interested. Establishment, now it is the UK, France, and the US saying not interested. And but again, if you have a left-wing option, they are apparently very willing to take it. So Democrats, are you listening here in America? My guess is no way. They will stick with their corporate agenda because they get paid to stick with that corporate agenda. They will learn no lessons from our election, French elections, or any other elections. Right now, the Democrats are more unpopular in America than Republicans are, which is astounding given that the Republican president is Donald Trump. But the establishment doesn't want to learn and doesn't want to hear that the American people and the French people and people all across the world don't want the establishment. They will do anything in their power to avoid hearing that and reacting to it, because that message is aimed directly at them. Well, whether they want to hear it or not, it is real and it is here. Our journalism drive is almost over. It ends in Trump's first 100 days. We need to hire more reporters and more watchdogs. Let's do that right now at tytnetwork.com/go.